Have you ever seen a human being move like a whisper across a tennis court, defying physics while calculating every single shot like a supercomputer? How does a champion known for her almost impossibly humble demeanor secretly train with the ruthless dedication of a Soviet-era chess master? Forget the usual celebrity gossip, we are talking about Simona Halep, the Romanian warrior princess who didn't just play tennis, she redefined the very concept of court coverage, turning defense into the most lethal offense the game had seen in a decade. This isn't just a sports story, this is the hidden chapter of a relentless mind that cracked the code of world dominance, only to face the most shocking betrayal right after reaching the promised land. Get ready to have your understanding of elite sports completely rewritten, because the true genius of Simona Halep lies in the terrifying consistency of her tactical execution, a consistency that drove opponents mad and captured the imagination of millions before pulling back the curtain on the biggest scandal to rock professional tennis. Simona Halep wasn't built like the power hitters, she was crafted like a finely tuned Swiss watch, a relentless counterpuncher whose speed was so electric, it often looked like the ball was moving in slow motion compared to her feet. Critics initially dismissed her stature, but she silenced every single doubter not with thunderous aces, but with a suffocating web of tactical brilliance that strangled rallies and reduced the world's best athletes to helpless, error-prone spectators. Remember that match where her opponent thought they had hit a winner, only to see Halep glide across the baseline and flick the ball back with impossible precision, resetting the point and forcing the unforced error? That wasn't luck, that was the result of a meticulously planned mental blueprint, designed to exploit the smallest crack in her rival's armor, turning high-stakes confrontations into grueling wars of attrition where only Halep's iron will survive. She became the physical embodiment of the phrase, "You must pass through the wall to beat me," making every point feel like scaling Everest, earning massive respect for her ability to absorb punishment and immediately pivot into an aggressive sequence. Let's zoom in on the specific magic. Halep's movement was so advanced, commentators literally coined the term Simona slide to describe her unparalleled ability to rapidly change direction after an explosive sprint, transitioning from full defensive stretch back into an attacking ready position faster than blinking. This phenomenal footwork allowed her to retrieve shots that other players wouldn't even dare to chase, neutralizing power that would typically blow opponents off the court, frustrating titans like Serena Williams and Garbine Muguruza into fits of desperate overhitting. Her victory at Roland Garros wasn't just physical endurance, it was tactical genius executed perfectly under immense pressure, systematically dissecting the clay court prowess of her opponent's point by relentless point. The fact is, despite her global fame and millions in earnings, Halep has openly stated that her most treasured possession remains the modest opal astra given to her by her family years before she became a superstar, revealing a deep-seated humility rarely seen in modern mega-athletes. But consistency is the most brutal mistress, and Halep's relentless pursuit of perfection led to fascinating mental strategies. Did you know she meticulously tracks the success rate of various mid-match tactical shifts, essentially operating a real-time data analysis system inside her head to predict the highest percentage play? Now, consider this incredible detail. Halep once wore the same simple, inexpensive practice shirt for an entire major tournament run because she felt it gave her an intangible psychological edge against competitors who often focused on designer gear and flashy endorsements, a profound testament to her focus on substance over spectacle. Her 2018 French Open victory against Sloane Stephens was a mesmerizing masterclass in mental fortitude. She managed to completely overturn a two-set deficit, proving not only her physical stamina but her absolute refusal to concede defeat, even when facing near-certain loss. Her greatest tactical innovation wasn't a topspin forehand or an angled drop shot, it was the psychological tool of never giving an opponent an easy point, starving them of oxygen until they inevitably suffocated under the weight of their own errors. The sheer shock of her Wimbledon final dismantling of Serena Williams was the quiet highlight of her career, a moment of strategic perfection that left the tennis world speechless. That day, Halep didn't just beat the greatest female tennis player of all time, she architecturally dismantled her game plan with surgical precision, completing the match, 6-2, 6-2, in less than an hour, producing arguably the cleanest, most flawless performance of her entire life, a perfect storm of defense and aggression. This victory wasn't just about a trophy, it was the ultimate realization of years of tactical discipline and emotional control, elevating her to a near-mythic status among tennis purists who valued strategy over sheer power. However, even the most impenetrable walls can hide the deepest cracks, and reaching the pinnacle often makes you a target for the darker elements lurking just outside the spotlight. Imagine building a career on consistency, honesty, and raw hard work, only to have it all threatened by an unseen enemy. The terrifying truth emerged when Halep, at the height of her renewed powers, was sidelined not by injury, but by a shocking, headline-grabbing suspension, a scenario so surreal, it felt ripped from a conspiracy thriller, throwing her perfectly structured world into chaos. The discovery of a banned substance, a nightmare scenario for any clean athlete, immediately cast a shadow over her impeccable reputation, forcing her into a silent, agonizing legal battle against unseen forces of doubt and accusation. How could the champion who epitomized discipline fall victim to such a drastic failure? This wasn't merely a career setback, it was an existential threat to her legacy, a cruel twist of fate that exposed the fragile nature of success in modern sports, suggesting that even the most meticulous planning cannot guard against every poison arrow shot from the dark. The subsequent fight to clear her name revealed a level of resilience perhaps even greater than her major title victories, demanding a relentless emotional battle against global skepticism and the weight of enforced inactivity, proving that sometimes, the hardest battles are fought not on the court, but in the courtroom. The ultimate suspense of Halep's story isn't about whether she won or lost a point, but the agonizing realization that even when you ascend to the top through nothing but clean skill and tactical genius, the world often holds a cruel joker card waiting to be played. The sheer spectacle of her eventual partial exoneration, a moment that should have been pure triumph, was instead tinged with the bitterness of lost time and irreparable damage to public perception. Her return wasn't just a comeback, it was a desperate quest to reclaim what was stolen, reminding us all that the cost of reaching the summit of excellence is astronomical, and the forces seeking to bring you down are often invisible until it's too late. Simona Halep remains the gold standard for tactical brilliance and movement, yet her story is a stark reminder of the tenuous grip stars have on their own narratives. Do not confuse silence with safety.